Well, the ratings, I mean, as my recent guest, Miss Kelly Dodd, and likes to point out, the ratings are, under a million. Like, I don't understand why we had a national, like a 911 red emergency alert. Call the paramedics, guys, because Roni is in the 600,000s. And yet Vanderpump comes back to like bad numbers. This got as low as 700,000, the OC. It started at one something, then it was in the eights and it was in the sevens. It's kind of the same as Roni. So the ratings are not so good. I don't know why we had a panic about Roni and we're not having a panic about OC, because this was supposed to be I mean, listen, I've said it before. I think nothing is worse than last season of Orange County. I think it's the worst season in Housewives history of any Housewives show. Yes, they filmed at the beginning of pandemic on handheld. I don't blame anyone in particular. I mean, I could blame some people, but I don't. But I mean, it's strange when Heather's like, this is the big season to fix the OC and the ratings are not that great. I don't know. I am a little bit like Gina, in the sense that I guess I'm just superficial and shallow. Like, I want Heather Dubrow to adopt me like Gina does. Like, I'm in awe of the house. I'm in awe of like, I mean, yes, I'm sure there's a staff of 70, but everything is always so clean. Heather is always like, I've said it before, like, I'm such a mess on certain days. How do the Lisa Vanderpumps and the Heather Dubrows exist where it's like nothing is out of place? Like, Lisa puts on that crisp white shirt and the jeans and the Hermes, and it's just like, and Heather's got the Fendi. Yes, they have $1 gazillion and that helps, but how are you this together as a human being?
I know it is. Okay. You know what? That is awe inspiring. It really is. Because I mean, if you could currently see the state of my apartment, it is.
You and me both, sweetheart. You and me both. And some people say like the opposite. They're like, no, that's like Stepford-ish. Like, we think that's freaky, robotic. Like, that's the other argument. They're like, but I'm just in awe. Like, I'm just in awe. Man.
You know, those are great points. I mean, I love that.
Listen, but I understand. I get it. I get why people look. Nobody in this world wants to be told what to do. Nobody wants to feel like someone is above them. I mean,
I have to say,
maybe that's why my audience likes me. They're like, we see a big mess at the head of the ship here. But I understand why people don't like Heather. Like, I get it.
I also like, you deserve so much credit for that Kelly and Rick interview. I mean, that was iconic. They do not do podcasts, and
they don't.
I miss Kelly on the show. You know, do I agree with a lot of Rick and Kelly's views? No, but I think that would have been a great opportunity for people to, you know, if you disagree with their science, not their science, but their like kind of philosophy on beliefs on masks and the vaccine, like, what a great way to hold them accountable if they were on the show. And like, they should have said, we're fine. Like, why they didn't do publicly say like, we're fining Kelly for Drunk Lives Matter. You know, we have moral clauses in our contracts. We feel like she violated it, and like, let her be on the show. Kelly, I think, brought so much. I still do. I love Kelly's style. I love Kelly's makeup. I love, you know, there's many things that I adore about Kelly. A lot of it I don't, you know, but I mean, I just feel like in this world where we have so many people that agree with Kelly and Rick's views, why did we take her off the show?
And by the way, for all the people that leave the comments and how, oh my God, and I'm so outraged and blah, blah. Let me tell you, there's 8 trillion people that slip into my DMs. Oh my God, thank you for having Kelly on. And like, so, right, this world is split. Like, despite all the comments and oh, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, numbers don't fucking lie. So you can say you're going to block me and unfollow the show. You know, 1 or 2 people, but my Instagram followers went up, the downloads went up. So no, nobody's leaving just because I had that's my job. And I would have Kelly Dodd and Rick on tomorrow as well if they wanted to come back. They were very
Well, kudos
pleased.
to you. I've emailed Rick a couple of times and said, "Hey, I'd love to have you on the show." You know, he got back to me and he's just said, we're not doing podcasts. Then sometimes he's never gotten back to me, but,
They
I
don't do
credit.
podcasts. It was literally one of my housewife friends said,
I know.
listen,
Good
bitch,
for you.
listen, bitch, you're doing David's show. I don't give a fuck if you do podcasts. You're doing my friend David's show. And it was like a major housewife. And Kelly was like, oh shit, you're friends with this one? I better do David's show. Really, that's kind of how it went down.
Well,
But
it was huge.
you know, yeah, it's not my job to have an opinion. I personally don't want to ever talk about politics or COVID on Behind the Velvet Rope. A and B, not interested. Sometimes the bus goes off the road and I drive it back on. I bit slap you, but Kelly and Rick, man, they just that, and I'm not backtracking. I mean, I love Kelly and Rick. I've DM'd them and like, but I just really tried to change the subject so many times. Like, I just don't want to talk about this. You know, like whatever someone's view is and like this and that, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about, you know, the bunko party of the 80s before you got there. And I want to talk about like, you know, Shannon and why you think Heather's a bitch. And I just want to talk about Housewives, sweetheart. Like, and Kelly and Rick are probably, they probably said like, you know, we're going to go on your podcast. Okay, we agree, but we got our own agenda. And so they came on and they did. But listen, I got the housewife stuff in there and I'm appreciative they did it because they're on brand, baby. Any housewife is on brand. I just hate talking about COVID and politics. I don't blame you.
You're never going to win.
It's a time to escape. It's a time to just forget this world bullshit.
I know. It's true. And I have such a difficult time on my show because I go back and forth from, I really care about like the future of our country and, you know, us coming together as a, you know, as a country. So but I agree. I feel like when people tune into us, it's their hour of escape and, you know, you're just going to fire people up.
And like, not for nothing, like I understand podcasts where they talk, like that's the job. My job is to interview people like celebrities, reality stars. And it's like, there's no journalist that's interviewing someone that should be inserting their opinion hardcore. That is just not the job. It's like, let me ask you all the questions. And mind you, I did not ask them one question about a mask or COVID or anything. I'm just like, this wasn't my fucking question. Where I asked you, like, did you expect to get fired from the OC? I understand how that does relate to Drunk Wives, the hat, and how it does relate to now politics. And I guess COVID, I guess, yes, you are answering, but I didn't expect a diatribe on masks, nor do I want one. You know what I mean? So
I know.
It's just like, the more they talk, the more I was just like, oh, the bus is literally, it's like off the road. It's now tumbled over a few times. It is now headed for like the lake. And I got to like slam on the brakes before we all die here on the operating table. But I'm not, this isn't shade to Kelly and Rick or anything. It's just, there's no opinion on it. I have an opinion. I'm not sharing anything. It's just like, people went fucking crazy on me.